Hi, Kathleen. We're so excited to talk to you today about your dark and tantalizing YA Gothic horror novel, The Resurrectionist, which is going to be hitting shelves this fall. So to dive right into our questions, can you start off by telling us a bit about how the idea for The Resurrectionist came to you?
Sure. Well, I actually started writing a book about Jack the Ripper, and my main character was his daughter. But it became more about the point of view of the father than the daughter, and so that's when I switched it over to a Frankenstein reimagining. And so that worked much better. I used the same main character, Dilly, was in that other book too, but there was no Jack the Ripper. Well, couple instances of Jack the Ripper, but no actual father was Jack the Ripper. So,
Right. It's always exciting for folks to hear about the inspiration and the origin story of novels. So, The Resurrectionist takes place in Victorian London, and readers are truly transported to this time and place in history. What kind of research did you do around this era to build Daly's world? And did you stumble upon any surprising or interesting facts in the process?
well, I'd already done a lot of research for Jack the Ripper because I set it in the same year, in 1888, in Spitalfields, which is the area that Jack the Ripper was killing in. So I left that the same, but I did a lot of research on that. But then when I switched over, I had to do a lot of research on Mary Shelley and her family and her background and other historical events, historical places in Victorian England, in London at that time. So yes, I did a lot of research. If I could show you my bookcase, it's filled with books about Mary Shelley and her mother, who was a feminist and also pretty famous in her own right. Um, but the most surprising thing I found was that Mary Shelley grew up in a household with poets and writers nightly coming in to talk to her. Her father was a publisher, and so that was really fascinating to me because I hadn't known that before. But it really didn't have much to do with my book. But but I liked the background of Mary Shelley, and yeah, so yeah, I did a lot of research.
That is very interesting. And as you mentioned, I know that Mary Shelley was a big inspiration for you in writing The Resurrectionist. I'm curious, what was the first Mary Shelley book you ever read and how she has influenced your own storytelling?
Well, I read Frankenstein when I was 8, and I fell in love with the genre. And so that led me to other Gothic novels like Dracula, Picture of Dorian Gray, Jane Eyre. Um, I'm forgetting one. Did I already say Dracula? Yeah, I already said Dracula. Anyway,
It's a big
so
one.
I read a lot of Gothic novels at a really young age, and I just like loved the genre so much. And I always sort of had it in the back of my mind to do a reimagining of Frankenstein because that is my favorite book. And I, in fact, have 19 copies of Frankenstein right now. I'm open to more. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, and how did she influence my writing? Well, because I read so many Gothic novels, I tried to write in that style also.
Mm. Yeah, I think that really comes across in the read. And I love that you've picked up so many copies of Frankenstein. It's also a fun souvenir when you're traveling. If you come across a copy and you can
Right,
remember where you
right.
picked that up. So for those who have not yet had the chance to read the book, there is a very shocking twist ending that will have everyone questioning everything they've read up to that point. Kathleen, tell us, was this how you always wanted the novel to end, or did it come to you as you were writing?
No, I actually wrote the ending like 3 or 4 times, and it just wasn't working. There was just something off about it, and so one day I was sitting at my desk at my laptop, and I think I was editing a chapter, I can't really remember, but all of a sudden it came to me. I'm like, "Oh, this is the ending. This is the ending that should be there." So that is the ending that everyone sees. So
That's
there you
amazing, and I can't wait for readers to discover that final page and figure out what that twist is.
go. Yeah, I know. I love doing plot twists. I also do Easter eggs too. There's a lot of Easter eggs in the book about Mary Shelley and some Jack the Ripper stuff in there. So I'm excited for readers to discover the Easter eggs.
Yes, definitely. So this is a bit more of a fun question, but if you discovered Dilly's father's journal and unlocked the secrets to resurrection, what would you do with the power? Would you share it with the world?
I'd want to try to perfect it first. So yeah, I might do that to make sure it worked. And then would I share? I thought about this question a lot yesterday when I was thinking about these questions. I'm like, would I share it? And then I was thinking of all the things that could go wrong if you shared it with, people. And I was like, no, I don't think I would share it.
Two very responsible answers, I think. And with that, Kathleen, it was so lovely to speak with you today. I hope everyone loves The Resurrectionist and enjoy the read.